Hello everyone, welcome back to ESL Drill. In today's lesson, we'll talk about different ways of using present perfect tense and simple past. There's a lot of confusion when it comes to the usage of present perfect tense. Several students find it difficult to understand when to use present perfect and when to use simple past. So I'll help you with understanding of these two tenses. Shall we begin? Let's first understand the structure of each tense. We'll begin with present perfect tense. The structure is have or has plus verb 3. Verb 3 is also called past participle. Have or has plus verb 3. Let's look at three different ways of sentences. Affirmative sentence, also called a positive statement. Next, negative sentence, and interrogative sentence, nothing but a question. Affirmative sentence structure is this: subject have or has plus verb 3. Let's have an example here. They have lost the match. They, subject, have lost, verb, the match, that's the object of course. Negative, the structure is subject have or has plus verb 3, but we have not here. That's the only difference here. Have or has, not plus verb 3. An example: they have not won the match. Interrogative sentence. The structure is have or has plus subject plus verb 3. I have forgot to mention has here. If the subject is singular, we use has. Have or has plus subject plus verb 3. An example is here: have they won the match? And if you want to use negative one, you can say haven't they won the match. You can add an apostrophe T here, or you can also say have they not won the match. Let's move on. Look at simple past and its structure. When there is no action and you talk about only state, you use stative verbs. Was, were, these are the B forms, past B forms. And when you talk about a real action, you use verb 2. Let's look at the structures and different types of sentences in simple past. Affirmative sentence follows this structure we have already discussed. Let's look at an example here. She was unhappy. Because the subject is singular, we used was. If the subject is like they, we say they were unhappy. She was unhappy. He flew a kite. Because there is an action here. Fly, flew, flown. Flew is verb 2. And what about negative sentence? She was not happy. They were not happy. We just add not. And when there is an action, he did not fly a kite. Look at this here. Look at how we change it, flew into did and fly. That is a rule. Be careful with that. Flew becomes did and fly. And what about an interrogative sentence? Was she happy? That is positive. And if you add not, you can make it negative. Was she not happy? And you can also use this not here in contracted form, short form, and you say wasn't she happy? Both are right. Now when you talk about action, did he fly a kite? Or you can say did he not fly a kite? You can also use not here at the beginning. Didn't he fly a kite? Now, when it comes to using present perfect tense, simple past is easy, but when it comes to present perfect tense, we need to understand a few rules, to really understand how the present perfect tense works. The first rule is this. We'll talk about when to use present perfect. We use present perfect tense when the time of action is not important, or we don't mention the time of action. Let's see how. Look at this example here. I have seen the Taj Mahal. I have not mentioned any time here, and I just want to say the memory of my seeing the Taj Mahal is still fresh in my mind. I can experience that now. No time, so present perfect tense. But there is a twist here. Look at this conversation to understand what it is. There is a conversation, and Mr. A, Mr. B have this conversation. Mr. A says, I have seen the Taj Mahal. Mr. B says, great, when did you see? Mr. A again says, I saw it in 2015. Okay, let's look at them. Mr. A used present perfect tense here. He said, I have seen the Taj Mahal. This is present perfect tense. Okay. B said, great, when did you see? Now here Mr. B used did see. This is simple past tense. Why do you think he used simple past tense here? Because he really wanted to know when Mr. A saw the Taj Mahal. See here, this is the key word here, when. When you mention the word when, you need to use simple past tense. I mean, most of the times, especially here. When did you see? Now the answer is, I saw it in 2015. Remember this rule here. When somebody asks a question in a particular tense, the answer must be in the same tense. When did you see? I saw it in 2015. So this is simple past. Did plus see, when you put them together, they become saw. I saw it in 2015. The rule is did plus V1 is equal to V2. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at another conversation. Mr. A says, I have twisted my ankle. Mr. B says, oh, how did it happen? Mr. A again says, it happened when I was coming down the steps last night. The same explanation can be applied here. Mr. A used present perfect tense to talk about what happened. I have twisted my ankle. Mr. B, oh, how did it happen? Here, Mr. B wanted to know when that thing happened, or he wanted to know the time of action. And that is the reason why the reply given by Mr. A is also in simple past tense. It happened. Of course, he wanted to add an extra thing by saying that there was a continuous action when something happened there. When I was coming down the steps last night. He gave a time reference. That's it. Now the first one is present perfect. The second one is, Mr. B's question is in simple past, and Mr. A's reply is in simple past tense too. The reason is the question is simple past, and that is the reason why you need to give a reply in simple past tense. Okay, let's look at rule 2. We use present perfect tense for recent actions when we talk about actions that finished recently. Look at this example here. She has done the cooking. Again, time is not mentioned here. Maybe she has just finished cooking. Time is not mentioned. So this is a very recent action. Rule 3. We use present perfect tense when we talk about past actions that have a present result. Remember this. Action happened in the past and its result is felt now. We can still feel the result of the past actions. For example, I have lost my key. Because I have not mentioned any time here, I use present perfect tense. I have lost my key. And how can the result of this past action be felt in present time? Look at this. I can't find it. I can't find it. This is the key word here. This is about present time. So I have lost my key. I can't find it. Past action whose result is felt in the present time. Present perfect tense must be used. And look at this here. It has rained, past action. And the result is the ground is wet. Right? I have cut my finger. It's bleeding now. I have cut my finger is a past action and the result can be seen now. You can see it's bleeding now. I hope you have understood. This is rule 3. Past actions, present result, present perfect tense. And rule 4 says this. We use present perfect tense when we talk about actions that began in the past and continue up to this moment, up to the time of speaking. For example, he has worked for Infosys for 3 years. He has worked for Infosys for 3 years. Look at this here. He is third person singular, so we used has plus verb 3. It means he is still working for Infosys. The action began in the past. He started working for Infosys 3 years ago, and it still continues now. Next, rule 5 says this. We use present perfect tense with expressions like recently, so far, since last month, for a long time, and of late. Recently, of late are the same. So far means here up to the time of speaking, up to now, until now. You know this one, since last month. Since carries the meaning of from last month. You know this, for a long time. Let's look at these words in example sentences. I have not seen them recently. Here the key word is recently. I have not seen them recently. Have seen, present perfect. Have you used it recently? Again, same word. I have done 3 projects so far this year. This year, and then again the key phrase here is so far, until now, up to the time of speaking, up to now. I have done 3 projects. Have plus verb 3. She has been a teacher for a long time. Here I have used a stative verb, be form, been. Be was verb past form, been past participle, that is verb 3. So has plus verb 3, present perfect tense. She has been a teacher for a long time. She has been a teacher since 2000. What do you think is the difference between these two? Look at this. When we use a long time, we mean a certain period, certain duration. So we use for. But when we talk about the point of time, I mean a particular point of time that the action started, when the action started, we use since 2000, I mean from this time. I have not seen him of late. I have already told you of late means recently. It's the same. I have not seen him recently. I have not seen him of late. Both carry the same meaning. Let's move on. Rule 6 says, we use present perfect tense with the words like never, just, already, yet. Remember this. We use these words in past perfect tense as well. So don't get confused. We are talking about present perfect, so I have mentioned it. Okay, never, just, already, yet. I have never seen this photo before. Look at this never, an adverb. I have never seen this photo before. So we have 2 auxiliaries here, have and seen, helping verbs, and we put the adverb between them. Don't say I have seen never this photo or I never have seen this photo. That's a bit odd. I have never seen this photo before. Next, he has just arrived from Vizag. The keyword here is just. They have already seen the film. The keyword here is already. Have seen, present perfect tense. And the last one, she has not submitted the work yet. Has submitted. The keyword here is yet. Okay, is that clear? Let us move on. Rule 7 says, we use present perfect tense with the words or phrases like today, this morning, this year, this week. Let's look at these examples. I have met John at the market today. Now when we say present perfect tense, when we use present perfect tense with such sentences, we mean that the morning is not over yet. It is still morning time. But if it is not morning time, it is like afternoon or in the evening. You can say, I met John at the market today, or maybe at 10 o'clock today, or something like that. I met John at 8:30 today. It's not morning now. That's why we mentioned 8:30 specific time. I used a simple past tense. They have not visited us this year. This year is not over yet. Remember, we use past tense with time reference words like yesterday, an hour ago, last year, last week, okay, this morning, this year, but when we use specific time in the past. But with no specific time, if the time period is still in progress, like today, this morning, this year, they are in progress, you can say present perfect tense. Look at this example. They have not visited us this year. They have not visited us this year. This year is not over yet. So we can use present perfect tense. Have visited. Rule 8. We talk about both the present perfect and simple past here. When you mention something that happened in the past and you make an inquiry about the action now, the inquiry should be in present perfect and the past real event incident should be in simple past. See here, something happened in the past and you talk about that, you make an inquiry about that now. This inquiry should be in present perfect and the real past event should be in simple past. Look at these examples here. The first one, I told you to pay the bill. This is past event, past incident. I told you to pay the bill. So past one should be in simple past. And what about this? Have you paid it? I am making an inquiry about it now. Have you paid it? This is present perfect. She promised to help you. Has she helped you? She promised, that is simple past, past event. Has she helped you? I am making an inquiry, so I used present perfect tense. She took your car. Has she returned it? Simple past, past event, and inquiry about the past event. Has she returned it? I hope it's clear now. Let us move on. Using present perfect and simple past, I have an exercise for you. This is a textual exercise. This is from class 10 textbook. Read the following sentences. Complete the conversation with the appropriate forms of verbs given in brackets. Is your brother in? The answer is no, he isn't. Look at this here. The question is in present tense and the answer is in present tense. Simple present. Is your brother in? No, he isn't. But look at this here. He dashed to Chennai. Now here the speaker has not mentioned any time or any time reference adverb or any time reference expression. So present perfect tense should be used here. So the correct one here is has gone. Go, went, gone. He has gone to Chennai. No time mentioned here. Remember this. But look at this here. When dash he dash to Chennai. This is a question and there is this keyword when. Here this speaker wants to know the time of action. And there is another keyword here. The answer is yesterday, a time reference word, adverb that refers to past time. So we understand that this question should be in simple past. So how do you ask simple past question? We begin with did and we use verb 1. So the answer should be when did he go to Chennai? Okay, let's look at another exercise. Look at this here. You have to use lose here, my pencil. Now, past incident, there is an inquiry about past incident. Look at this here. Something happened in the past. We have just discussed it. Something happened in the past and we are making an inquiry. The speaker is making an inquiry about it now. So, the real past event should be in simple past. So our answer should be lost. Lose, lost, lost. Second form is lost. Simple past. And what about present inquiry about the past incident? It should be in present perfect tense. So have you seen it anywhere? Have you seen it anywhere? This is a question, so we used helping verb at the beginning and then the subject and then the third form of the verb. Since the question is in present perfect tense, the answer should be in the same tense. Can you guess? No, I have not. No, I haven't. You can say short one or the usual one. No, I have not. No, I haven't. Now look at this here. Again, when is the key word in the next sentence. Here the speaker wants to know a specific time of action. And there is another time here, time reference word, last. So these two words suggest that this sentence should be in simple past tense. So use is the verb here. And how can we begin simple past tense question? With did. Did and V1. When did you last use the pencil? Now look at this here. The answer. The question is in simple past and the answer should be in simple past. Because this is a question, we used did and V1. But in affirmative sentences, we put them together, did and see, and we get saw. Okay? Sorry, this is actually when did you use the pencil. That's my mistake. Excuse me for that. When did you last use the pencil? So when you put did and use, when did you use the pencil? The answer should be I used it when I was in the class. There is again this key clause here. When I was in the class is the clause that helps us with time. So when I was in the class is a clear indication of past tense. So we used. Next. Perhaps you dash it in the class. Can you guess? Okay, let me tell you one thing here. This perhaps and maybe can be used in any tense, especially simple past and present perfect, almost any tense. But here there is no past time reference word, past adverb that talk about past action. So we can use present perfect tense here. There's no problem. Because we are dealing with only present perfect and simple past. And simple past cannot be used because there is no time reference word. We can easily use present perfect tense here. Perhaps you have left it in the class. Let's move on to the next one. Look at this exercise. Look at this conversation. See how this works. Now the key word here is yet. We have already discussed just, already, yet. We use, with those words we use present perfect tense. Now let me remind you of this. This yet can be used in past perfect tense as well, but we are dealing with only present perfect and simple past here. So we can choose present perfect. And what is the structure of question in present perfect? Have or has, V3. But Madhu is singular, third person singular, we use has. Madhu arrived. But I'm sorry, I have to mention not here. Has Madhu not arrived yet? Has Madhu not arrived yet? Okay. Please make that correction. Next, B. No, he. The question is in present perfect tense and the answer should be in the same tense. So, no, he hasn't. Look at this next one here. You have the keyword already. Again, present perfect tense must be used. But he has arrived already. Now, dash you dash to him. Again, there is no time mentioned here. So, you can freely use present perfect tense without a doubt. Have you talked to him? No time mentioned. Now, since the question is in present perfect tense, the answer should be the same tense. No, I haven't. Or you can say, no, I have not. I merely dash him. See here, when somebody asks a question in present perfect, the immediate reply should be in present perfect. But the further explanation can be in simple past. So we should use saw here. I merely saw him. See, saw, seen. The second form is saw. Shall we move on to the next one? Okay. There's no time mentioned with the first sentence here, first question, so it should be in present perfect tense. Have you called me mother? Have, subject, verb 3. Have you called me mother? Because the question is in present perfect tense, the answer should be in the same tense. Yes, I have. Next, again, today. This is the key word. We have not mentioned any time here with today, so it means today is still in progress. So you can use present perfect tense. Have you seen my diary today? But with the answer, that's different. Here the speaker used last night. Last night is the phrase that is used when you talk about past time. So you have to use simple past. V2. I put it on the table last night. Now look at the next sentence here. I dash all over the house for it. Again, there is no time mentioned, so we should use present perfect tense. I have looked all over the house for it, but it anywhere. Again, that's a continuation of that, so we use the same tense. I have not found it anywhere. I have looked all over the house for it, but I have not found it anywhere. Look at this one here. This morning. Now, this morning, and there is no past time reference word here, so we can use present perfect tense again. I have seen it on the table this morning, if I remember right. Maybe father it with him by mistake. I have already told you with perhaps and maybe, you can use present perfect tense when there is no past time mentioned. Here past time is not mentioned, so we can use present perfect tense. Maybe father has taken it with him by mistake. Let's see the next exercise. Do you know Mrs. Geeta? Yes, I do. The question is in present tense, simple present tense, so the answer is simple present tense. Okay, anyway, we are not worried about that now. Here the key word here is for. So we use present perfect tense. So the answer should be have known. I have known her for nearly 4 years. For is the key word because we used period of time. Okay, now next one. It dash at a high school that I first her in 2009. There is a clear indication of past time here in 2009, so we have to use simple past in both the blanks here. Now we have used be here. We have be here, and the past form of be, the past forms of be are was and were. Now it is singular, so we use it was at a high school that I first, again simple past, saw. It was at a high school that I first saw her in 2009. The key phrase in 2009. Next one, with her for several years. Again, several years is a period of time. Now we used for here. The key word here is for, just like this. So we use present perfect tense. I have worked with her for several years. Recently, we at the wedding of a mutual friend of us. Now there is no clear time mentioned again here, and with recently we use present perfect tense. So meet, third form is met, and we is subject, so we have to use have. We have met at the wedding of a mutual friend of us. That's it for today's lesson, friends. I hope you have liked this lesson. If you have really liked it, please like my video, share it, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This will encourage me to make more videos. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.